Do we need to have like a partner type, or that might be a taxonomy, a partner category?
You're going to go from a super thin website to a super thick website here, bro.
Oh, I'm pumped.
Let's do another post type. Next one I have on my list is testimonials. Now, I've done this a certain way, and I think it works. Again, sometimes data architecture isn't always the same way, but beautiful. Beautiful.
I love that. I love that so much. This is my favorite part. It's like a dopamine hit every time.
Just bang, 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 bang. Love that. All right. So let's see. For testimonials, so testimonials is an interesting one. Yeah. There's probably a 0% chance that we're going to want a single for testimonials. So I feel comfortable in this sense turning off publicly queryable, because I don't think that you're ever going to want to have just like a single for that. Like I can't think of a reason.
So this, okay, hear me out here.
Yeah.
What about like a client case study? If you had, would that make sense to have like a short testimonial that you would use in a slider? And if someone clicks it, if you wanted a full-on blog post elaborating on that case study, would this be the place to do that?
So I think this is one of those things where, like, if you think that's going to happen, we could absolutely build it for that. If you don't think that's going to happen, then, we just go minimum viable, so to speak. But like, it's not hard to do that. It's just, I would change some things. So for instance,
Okay.
I'm mostly basing this off of stuff that I've done over on mine. So it's like, in my mind, testimonials, the things that I have in my testimonial are a few things. There's going to be a taxonomy, possibly there is for me, possibly for you. It's like testimonial categories. So it's categorized as sponsorships, consulting, speaking, and I think one other thing or whatever. But so my point is, like, to me, an education or whatever. So to me, there might be different people giving you testimonials. Okay. Let's think about this from the brand perspective, the holistic brand perspective. There's different avatars giving you testimonials about different things. So
Right.
one of the ones, the simplest one, is the brands that you're sponsoring, that are sponsoring you, right? You make a video about something. We say, oh, Christian was a gem to work with, great videos, whatever. Okay. So that would be, like, in my mind, sponsorship, partnership, whatever you want to call it. That's that one avatar. The next one is your comment section, all the people consuming your stuff, which I still think is valuable. Maybe not like on the homepage or something, but somewhere you may want to reference some of that. Maybe it's in the form of the picture thing, right? Like just like a screenshot of the comments, or if you transfer it over or whatever, but you may want to capture some of that as well. It's nice to have that. So that's, like, again, whether you want to call it education or, I don't know, what have you. The third one for you that I know you also did as well is consulting.
Yep.
You could go deeper on that, but just in general, I would call consulting anything that you do consulting for. So it's not, you're not making videos for them. You're not like educating them directly. You're doing a, like a one-on-one call or a group meeting or something. And that could be a brand, that could be a person or whatever, but you're still getting, I would say, still getting a testimonial from them. And then again, speaking as well. Obviously I know you've had speaking engagements. I don't know if people normally get testimonials, but if I do speaking engagements, I'm going to try to get testimonials for that too. So my point is that you're categorizing all that. Coming back to specifically the case study thing, if you think any of those instances could warrant a case study, then I would say possibly we change this to, it's like, where do you want envision that in your mind. Okay, let's do a brand, XYZ brand. XYZ brand gave you a testimonial, so you have a little bit from them, and you also really did a good job, and like it was a fantastic campaign. You want to note it down. If you want to make it as organized as possible, yeah, I would say change this potentially to case studies. See, the way I'm thinking about this is, like, where is that information going to live? Is it going to live on a page that says, like, what's the URL going to be? It's going to be, craylor.com/case studies/XYZ. You know what I mean? So that could be, or customer stories is like another one. So category customers, I'm not really sure. Oh, blog. Okay, well, here's the problem though. This is a blog. This is different to me. That's all I'm saying. Is like this is, well, this says customers, I guess. I'm not. What if you just do dub.co/customers? What is that? Where does that go to?
Interesting.
That's actually super fucking nice.
Yeah,
I actually really like this.
I don't
steal this.
think this is WordPress, but Yeah,
Doesn't
that
matter.
looks
Doesn't matter.
great.
We could build anything. We could build anything.
Yeah,
This is
of
actually
course.
sick. I don't even, when I say this is sick, I don't even mean, I never look at the design. I just look at like how they laid all this out. So,
Yeah.
okay, can we use this for a second though? So like,
Yeah.
let's look at this. So dub.co, what they're doing here, they're probably not using WordPress, doesn't matter. But what they're doing here is if you wanted to create something like this, one way to create it, at least in my mind, from an architecture perspective, is you would say, and we could do this for yours if you want. So customers. So if I was building this, you said, hey, Mark, I want to build this type of thing. Custom post type called customers. So the slug is, customers, and like, single is customer. This is an archive. This is the customer's archive. You got a little bit of the thing at the top, meet our customers, whatever, BS up there. And then that first thing there, that little Twilio polymarket, that's probably just like, those are probably static. Maybe they put them in there. Maybe you could do all their stuff too. You could like have that rotate different ones or whatever. But those are pulled from the custom post types, the customer custom post types. So Twilio would be one of them. Polymarket would be one. Superhuman Buffer. All those would be in your CMS, and you're just grabbing them from there or doing whatever you want there. Then now below this, there's a grid. So there's Perplexity is one of them. Vercel is one of them. Huberman Lab is one of them. Inside each custom post type are fields, right? So Huberman Lab, like those are either like a logo field, or they're probably a logo field. They could be a featured image too. Doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, again, some sort of image custom field. That part right there, the little testimonial part seems like just like a text field WYSIWYG of testimonial. And it has like links and everything like that. It seems like in too, which is kind of a nice touch. Then this is the other thing is with testimonials, generally they're coming from a person. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a headshot, like you call it whatever you want, but like a contact headshot. A contact, potentially first name, last name, like two different fields, probably just one name is fine. And then their title as well. And I see something very interesting going on here too, is that if you look at the Huberman Lab one, that person doesn't work for Huberman Lab. You see what I'm saying? Like, so you might actually need a company contact, like if different or something like that or whatever. Again, I'm going like super deep on this because I don't like to go into the builder and mess around with things. This is if you're not used to this, I just need to make this point really quick. If you're not used to this right here, if what I'm saying is like, Mark, why are you doing all this shit when you could just like make this thing one time in the builder and then duplicate it all? It's because now I have to manage an infinite amount of different cards. And if I ever change any padding or anything like that or do something, then I have to physically change every single one. Now, there are components as well, but like all of this is an abundance of information, and it's all the same type of information. Put it in the CMS, and then you're able to utilize it in grids and different places. Because this is another big thing, specifically while we're on this, there's probably other pages on this website where they're bringing up some of these testimonials. So you want to be able to grab those elsewhere. See, like those, like you don't have to put those in statically. You can just loop all those logos and just show them there, right? There's another one randomly right there. You could change that like literally every day automatically if you wanted to. It doesn't have to always be, just the Huberman Lab guy. So yeah, another one. See, it's like, especially for testimonials, like you want them everywhere on your website. So we're pretty deep here. This is a really nice looking layout here though.
I like their website.
So I know that was a lot of stuff there. Do you want to try the dub method? Do you want to just try customers? Like, is that enough, or do you want to?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say customers. It feels a bit. I just don't know about the terminology, but I would like the flexibility to have like a short testimonial, and then something like this, read more. I mean, that's exactly what I was visioning when I brought the question up, is that capability to be able to have a button and then it goes to a full-on case study like this.
Love it. Okay, so then this is kind of interesting then. So then you only need to really make two decisions from a semantic perspective then. So go back to the customers page real quick. If you like this, like forget when I say like it, I mean squint your eyes, tilt your head to the side, and like it. I don't mean like how it's laid out and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
If you could envision yourself having ABC brand, XYZ brand, all that sort of stuff that you've had, and on this page, you need to make two decisions. You need to make a decision about, maybe even one decision. What do you want that word to be? Do you want that word to be customers, testimonials, case studies, etc.? And the reason I'm asking the question is because that's what it's going to be here. And then when you click read more, or if you linked directly to like company XYZ's let's say you worked with Product Hunt, you click that.
Mhm.
Now you see what's happening at the top. It's customers, Product
Yep.
Hunt. So, the only real thing we could build that, because that's super easy, and this is just a single. What this is I would classify this as a customer single. The other thing is the customer's archive. All you need to decide is what you want that word to be, which is tough because as simple of a request that is, I really hate having to change that shit later, not just because of redirects and stuff, but also because of this is where the whole metadata database shit comes into play. It's like it's very doable. It's just kind of annoying because now you have like different stuff kind of like going on there. Oh, love is an interesting
Yeah.
one. I've also heard the
Yeah,
word
I kind of like.
praise. Praise. I've heard praise as well.
Yeah, I kind of like love. I don't know. I just customers is too stuffy, and testimonials feels businessy. I don't know. It's like I would feel different about it if I was a SaaS or I was offering some kind of product, but as a content creator, the word testimonials just feels kind of off. So
Yeah,
maybe love is the word. I don't
the
know.
only thing I'd say about this one is that love, it doesn't look like they have any singles, so to speak. It looks like they're just
Yeah,
pulling this in
that's
from
true.
there.
Yeah,
Not like a big deal either way. It's just
I
something
think it
that's
just
kind
goes
of interesting.
on. It's
That's
clearly an
wild. I wonder
API.
if
Yeah,
yeah,
just
I wonder if they're
that
pulling all
is
those in via just they have to
that
be.
is crazy. It
I've
just
seen
keeps
that
going.
before. I've seen that before. Anytime like the name is mentioned in a tweet, it just gets pulled in, which is kind of
Yeah,
funny because like somebody could
it
be
could be
shitting on your
negative.
product.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
not
so
love. It's not
weird.
love anymore. It's hate. That's pretty funny.
Maybe they have an AI filter to try and
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah. Does this sound lovey or does this
Yeah.
sound negative? That'd be
Oh
funny.
man, decisions. I
It's tough.
Yeah, I think love is what I'm leaning towards. Either that or just testimonials. I Customers and case studies both sound a bit too businessy.
Yeah. I mean, again, you don't have to say it in the copy necessarily. You could
Let's
just,
just do
it would just
love.
be, let's do it. Send it. All right. So might have to do this. Is it gonna,
I'm gonna have to.
yeah. Okay. Well, now I would turn publicly queryable back on. So that's a nice thing. And then I would scroll down to, we do that menu icon again. So for this, can you click back over there? Cause I just want to make a quick point, just the dub one,
Yeah.
the single. So here's the thing, right?
Oh, the single. Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on here. And for this is like a true blog. I mean, it's not a blog post, but it feels like a blog post to me. And we're
Yeah.
definitely not going to do all these fields because they probably have a ton if they did this properly. So we're not going to necessarily do this, but just scroll for me for a second. There's like a feature, that's like a featured image right there is what I would call that, the top middle thing.
Mhm.
Then all of this where it says product hunt is the leading performer, whatever. That is probably the easiest way to do all that is to do that in the editor of WordPress because the block editor is really good objectively at doing that. And then you
Yes.
can take that information and you can use a post content element or whatever and pop it right in there. And that's beautiful. So for instance, if you wanted to build this page, I'll go high level on this and then we'll just do a couple for you, like whatever you think your main ones are. For high level for this page is scroll up to the top. We'll start there.
Mhm.
Is like all customers is a tag from probably like a taxonomy or whatever. You can see like category customers in the bottom. That's just like bringing up like whatever. So you can do all that. And then that product hunt unlocks. That's probably just, that's definitely the title because you can see it in the title tag too or whatever. So that's like the title. This is probably like either an excerpt, you either using the basic excerpt thing that comes with it that I never use or, just like another little text field or whatever, the learn how to whatever. Product hunt on the right-hand side is, see, this is where it gets a little weird is because this is the single now, but it's like your title potentially could have been product hunt before, but it's not. So this is actually where it gets a little, you can do this several ways. You could, when we get to tools, which I know is the main thing, let's say that you worked with, Product Hunt is a bad example, but let's say that you worked with Product Hunt. Let's say that Product Hunt is a tool that you associate with, and now you have love for Product Hunt, right? Like you have some love from Product Hunt and you have Product Hunt as a tool. You could put a relationship between the two of those custom post types. You could say the love from Product Hunt, like who is the love from, and you could reference the tool and vice versa. So you have a relationship now in your website, and then you could pull information about Product Hunt all from that. So for instance, like, maybe over in the tools section of this, you have like an about, and you have an industry, and you have a company size, and you have founded and all that sort of stuff. We'd have to really think about the best way for you to do that, because that information might be better over on the love side than it would be on the other side.
Yeah.
But I that's super abstract right now. It'll make more sense if we actually do some relationships at some point here, but that's kind of what I mean. So you have two options. It's either if it's over in the tool and you have like the about in the industry and everything, like that information lives over in the other custom post type, and then you could just dynamically reference that because it's related to this piece of love, or you put all that information in the love one. So what I'm going to recommend for you is probably just make it as simple as possible as we go back and do the other thing. So I just want to give that context. Let's go back over to the post type one, and we'll just put a couple in here. So let me look at mine. So I have title, and you should definitely leave editor on. I would honestly put in thumbnail as well, the featured image thumbnail, just because you're going to kind of build out blog posts potentially for this. All right, so a couple different ones. I would say like short testimonial or something, like however you wanna say that. Because this would be your, if we're using the dub example, this is that short little one on the front. I would make that a WYSIWYG. Next one here, yeah, because like that's like what you're gonna actually format everything like that. And then the next, I would go to a new meta field, and I would say you're most likely gonna need a headshot. So like you can either say headshot or contact headshot or something. If you know what it is, then you could just do headshot. This is the person that gave you the testimonial, which is always like a nice thing. I would make that a media. And then new meta field, and I would say like title or role or whatever you want to put in there. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because it's
going to say title.
Yeah, I would say title. You don't have to make sure that these are all unique, because you use role in the other one. It'll sub preference it with the other one, but obviously you can't have title twice in the same post type. Obviously, it would get confused. Yeah, that's just a regular text for that one, so that one's good.
So there's no conflict here because it's like the post type has a title, and there's also a title.
Technically, I'm pretty sure that's like post underscore title. I always try to be like super defined as much as possible, because when I'm clicking around setting these things, I don't want to be like confused. I just want to make it as easy as possible.
Okay. Also, well, now I'm overthinking. Now I'm like, well, this should be contact headshot.
It's all good.
I'm going to do contact title.
Delete that for a second. Delete the name and ID that you just typed in there. That contact title or contact headshot, and then go back up and tab. It just for consistency purposes, they use underscores.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, got it.
That's just the reason I did that.
And then I'll fix that below too.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so I like that. And then, so I have one that's full testimonial. However, you probably don't need that. If your plan is to do a short one and then do like a blog post, if you expand it, then you don't need anything like that. And then the next, I have one that's screenshot. Now, the reason I have screenshot is like just in case they're not actually going to write it. But for you, again, if you're mainly focused on consulting and the sponsorship stuff, then you probably don't need that either.
What about logo?
So this is the other thing too, is the reason I don't have logo is because I'm pulling that from the tool.
Okay.
However, not every brand you work with might be on your tools. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'm wondering, this is really getting deep here, but does it
this is what we do here. This is the architecture.
Yeah, I'm getting sucked in now, where this is why I say this is not my strength, because I'm an overthinker and I just go off on these tangents. Does it make sense to have a post type that's just entity? Like the concept of like almost like a shell or a user, and that entity could then be associated with tools, testimonials, events. Because the events thing is interesting too. I'm thinking about like CloudFest and WordCamp. Maybe every CloudFest event should be associated with the entity of CloudFest, and that could also tie back to if they did a testimonial for me as a media partner, there's a way for people to see all of the data relating to any CloudFest on the website.
I love this. I genuinely love this. So a couple quick things, and I'm going to answer that. There's not really a right way to do any of this. So like, I mean, it's totally up to you. There's better ways, I guess. But like when you're thinking about these things like this, as long as you understand it and you could document it potentially if you pass it off to anybody, like this is the right way to do this. Like don't misunderstand. Overthinking here is where you want to overthink rather than not thinking and then having to be screwed later when you're trying to actually like put all this together and it's like super hard to manage. So this is good. The only way overthinking becomes a problem is when you try to go super ridiculously tight on all these different things. You bring up an interesting point. I actually think there could be, especially in your case, an opportunity to do, I don't know if I'd call it entity, but in your case, I might call it partner.
Yeah.
And it's
I like
like
that.
it's like partners. And then in the partner thing, you would have, the problem is some of this becomes semantics in a way. It's like, what are we calling these things? And then where are we putting the fields and all that? But let me try to think about this real quick. If you had a partner and then pretty much every single brand you ever worked with is in partner. And then in that information, in that partner is like probably the title would be the name. And it could be, it's really an entity, but it's ultimately partner. It's like anything that you're going to use elsewhere. It's almost like you're building like kind of like a little CRM in there. You're not doing nearly as much information, but you're doing the main things. You're doing like the name of the company.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing probably a logo, potentially multiple versions of the logo, depending if you want to do the light and dark stuff or whatever. But I mean, this is kind of how I utilize my tools right now. But I actually like this partner idea because then you could have /partners. And you could have / whatever, like, you know, whatever else. This is what happens though. As I'm thinking about this, I'm literally thinking about, well, this is the reason Dub had customers. I don't know if they actually did it like that, but like that's what you probably could have done instead of love. You probably could have done partners.
Yep.
And then within that, you could have. The only issue becomes there is like how many testimonials can you get from these places? Like you could possibly get multiple testimonials, right? So then the next question is, okay, how do you get multiple testimonials from one partner? It's either you have a testimonial CPT or love or whatever, or you have like a repeater situation going on inside that custom post type. I'm really getting deep now. This is like
I love it.
303.
This is awesome.
In your case specifically, I mean, I'm down to experiment with the partner thing because I think that could work. But let's strategize. Let's use an actual real world example with like a partner. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a real partner if you can't say it, but like a partner that like you think you would work with on multiple occasions or something, and what that would ultimately look like in your vision. Because it could be really cool to have /partners /CloudFest or whatever, and then have one page for them. And like this is the point. It's like CloudFest, something, maybe a little bit of like testimony or whatever, but it's also information about them and information about your working relationship. And then sections on there that again are all pulled from this dynamic data because it's all related. It could be events that you've been at, like CloudFest past iterations that you've been at. It could be testimonials from work you've done. It could be, this is literally where you start going down the list of all these different custom post types. You're like, how do these link together? How do these put together? Anything they've mentioned you in, any videos that you've made about them. This is the whole thing right here. This is entirely it. It's like, where can you make all this data and then how can it all fit together? Because it's all about the same, website, right? The same entity of your entity, your company. So, do you have a vision that we could potentially create?
Yeah, I think it does make sense to explore this partners idea because I see a case where there could be multiple tools for the same partner. Maybe I recommend shared hosting. Let's just use Hostinger. Like Hostinger shared hosting, and they've got e-commerce hosting and cloud hosting, or maybe you want to call it managed, whatever. To me, it's starting to make sense to do this partners model because then I could just create a tool, select the partner, which is Hostinger, and I'm not duplicating the logo has been uploaded 3 times, and I'm typing in Hostinger 3 times, and then if their logo changes, I have to go to 3 different tools and update it. I don't really see the downside to not doing that. The only thing I'm stuck on is, are the testimonials then part of the partner post type, or do we still have a testimonials post type? Because the I think the only reason to have a testimonials post type is if there would be multiple per partner, and I don't know if that would ever be the case. I'm trying to think of a reason why you would have multiple testimonials from the same company.
I think there's a way around that with repeaters, although that starts to get a little complex and a little limiting at certain times. What I would probably say we do, are we still on the love one right now? Did we create that one?
Yeah, no, we didn't create it yet.
I'm thinking I like the partners idea. So here's the question. The question is, if we go to add a new post type, let's actually just do it. Let's leave this like this. Open up the post type in a new tab. Can you just like do that?
Yeah.
Click add new. Might mess up our order a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. It's all in the same spot. Type in, let's do partners. Let's try to do an exercise. So partners, and then labels. Do you like the word partner? I know I just.
Yeah, no,
that,
I mean,
okay.
partner's great. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So boom, 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 boom. And then advanced settings. And yeah, we would want all that, I believe. And then down here to the icon. I don't know. We always have a difficult time with the icon. Okay, so for this, right? So this would be our partner page. Now the trouble with partners is I'm not sure if you're gonna want like probably not gonna want a blog style situation, but I can't imagine what the page would look like. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to a hosting or a CloudFest like /partner/hosting or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to have there. Truthfully, you're going to have a title. I don't think you're going to have an editor.
Okay, so here, primary use case, more than anything that I'm envisioning, is multiple tools for the same company. Someone being able to say, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know Christian talks about Hostinger. Hostinger has 50 products on their website. Maybe some are better than others. So what specific Hostinger products has Christian mentioned or recommended? I think that's the primary use case here. But then there's also the benefit of being able to leverage the logo in other places like testimonials.
Got it. All right. Let's get rid of the editor then, because I have an idea for like what that would kind of look like, and you don't really need the editor. You can always turn it back on. All right. So new meta field here. So your title in this case is going to be like the company title. So that's taken care of. The next thing would be this really is going to depend on what information you want to know about, like Hostinger, for instance, like what information. So logo, I guess, is going to be one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put anything in I mean, you might want to put something in the featured image, but I'm not sure what it would be. The trouble with putting like a logo in the featured image is that the featured image is normally like, you know, like not 16 by 9, but it's like a square thing that normally shows up. That's the default. So I don't want to put my logo, this logo file in there because it's going to look like shit. So
Right.
you may need to turn on the featured image up there, but don't put the logo in there. Put like you would want it to be something else if you ever wanted to dynamically generate some, you know, some of those types of things. So this is good. So logo. Now here's the actual problem though. These logos are going to show up on your website, right?
Yeah.
And this is where you get to the point where like kind of like, oh fuck, this is a lot of work, because this is a logo for another person's company that you are showing on your website. But the problem is, if you want to make your website dark mode, then you need to you would probably need to account for that. So what I would say, all I would say is I would do 2 logo fields. The first one would just be like, you know, I don't know if you think the website is going to be mostly light or whatever, or mostly dark, just put one of them as dark logo, one of them as light logo, 2 different fields, and then when you upload logos, you just do it appropriately.
Is there a way to have a default if a particular logo works well in both circumstances?
You're saying one logo,
have 2 fields, but have sort of like because I'm thinking there are some logos out there that they're just like that perfect color that they work in light and dark mode. You don't need a separate one. So is there a way we can design this where, if that's the case for the logo, I only upload it once rather than taking that logo and uploading it twice in both fields, the same exact image file?
Yeah, so I would say the first way is the simplest way. You have 2 fields back here. One of them says light logo, one of them says dark logo.
Okay.
That's the first way. Now in my mind, you would still want to upload them twice if you were going to do that.
Okay,
because
that's
that's an
fine.
well, you don't upload it twice, but you select it twice. The alternate
Oh,
way,
you're
though,
just it's once in the media library, but you're selecting it.
exactly. So
That's fine.
okay, well the other option I was going to say was you just say logo and you say alt logo. The problem with that is that when you go to set these fields up in the builder, like click the dynamic thing for that, you're going to have to remember in your mind, it's like, did I put all the light ones in the main one, or did I put all the dark ones in the main one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But
for sure.
for this approach, if one's the same, you just select it twice. You don't have to
That makes
upload it
sense.
twice. So,
Okay.
okay, so now again, we're talking about a partner. We have their light logo and their dark logo. Again, I'm gonna throw another difficult one at you here. It's like those are logos, right? Do you
Yeah.
want icons?
I'd like to at least have the option
Yeah.
with the architecture.
So again, like dark logo, dark icon, light icon.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how much media you have to manage now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's way better because you just have to do it one time on the back end, and if it ever changes, you just change it. But it is kind of funny because now you're managing all of these. Like now you have potentially 4 logos per partner. Now again,
Yeah.
this is the best way to do it. I'm just trying to illustrate to people that if you do this stuff the right way, you have to gather a lot of data and put it where it needs to go. Well, so here's the next thing is like, what website should you put the website here? Probably makes sense.
I think so. So
The
what I'm
main
thinking
company
is
website.
exactly, yeah. And then for each tool, we would go to a specific landing page for that product.
Yeah,
That should be good, I think.
Text is good. Yeah, let me check what I have for my.
This is getting
tools.
exciting now.
Dude,
this
this is. I mean, we haven't built anything on the front end, but like, I mean, here's the thing though: is when you do all this work like this, now when you go on the front end, you build things basically one time, put some default things in or dynamic things in, and then everything just moves because it's so great.
One question I have. This is a high level question here, but
Yeah.
so we're designing this around partners, kind of an overarching entity. If I just go straight to tools and I want to add a tool that's a new partner, can we marry these fields in that post type? In other words, like, is there a way to, like, you could select an existing partner and it populates, or if you don't, I can like fill these fields out within the tools post type? Or do I have to go to partners first, add the new partner, go back to tools, select it from the drop down?
I wish you were able to do it all in the same one, but I think you have to.
It's gotta be separate. Okay.
If you start a new thing with like XYZ product from ABC company, then I would add the partner. Just the easiest way is I would add the partner information first, and then I would go over to the tool and I would just select, associate it. We haven't built a relationship yet, but
Sure.
You build that relationship. You select that relationship, and then you'd put in the additional tooling information.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it complicates things a little bit in that for each tool, I could have to enter things in 2 places, at least unless that partner is already established on the website. But that's, I mean,
yeah,
I still think it's probably worth it.
You're not duplicating information. You're just entering information in 2 places. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Because I was thinking about, I don't know if you're a Notion user. Well, yeah, you used a Notion on one of the prior episodes.
Oh, yeah.
How in Notion you can have field relationships, and if you just start typing in that field, if the item doesn't already exist in that other table, if you just start typing, it will create it in the other table without you having to go to that table, make it there first, and then go back to your other thing in Notion. That's kind of what I'm getting at, but it sounds like it's not doable, which is fine.
There is when we get to that, there might be a way to like add a new one, to create a new one. I'm not sure. I mean, again, it's in one other spot, but I'm gonna say no because I don't want to get your hopes up.
Fair. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I entered it in across 2 places, not duplicating the data, but and that's fine.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so let me see. What else do we have here? Any other things that we could think of from a tools perspective, or really not a tools yet, but like a partner perspective? So I'll read you some of the ones out of my tools one because yours is going to be more broad. So I have website URL, I have pricing model, short description, my affiliate status, my affiliate link, my current plan, my thoughts, types, logo dark, logo light, symbol dark, symbol light. So I think for the most part, that's kind of it. Now, what I would say though, is based off the cool idea we got from Dub, if you want to go back to that single for a moment, that stuff on the right-hand side, I don't know if you care about any of that, but in my opinion, that stuff right there, if I was building that, that whole thing would be coming from the partner tab, because that's
Yes.
like partner company-ish information. So if
I
you care
do.
about any of that, then
Yeah, I kind of like founded. The other thing is, I wonder if this is the place to categorize. Are they a sponsor, a viewer,
it could be more than one
a
too. Yeah.
yeah? There could be more than one. Yeah.
How does view, like, what would there be though? It'd be sponsor, and it
I
would
think
be,
sponsor, viewer, affiliate, or I don't know if affiliate is the right term, but like if I am an affiliate of this partner,
yeah.
but they're not a sponsor, just disclosing what that relationship
So
is. And
sponsor is a given though. Sponsor makes total sense. Give me a viewer example though.
well, so with the way we're setting this up, technically, and maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but if I want a testimonial from a viewer, wouldn't I have to enter them as a partner, like enter the viewer as a partner before I then go and create the testimonial?
Um, well, we didn't fully wrap our head around that just yet, because
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to do that, because I don't know, the viewer isn't really like a big enough, like the viewer is important, but like from this data perspective, like I'm not sure exactly what else. We'd have to think of an example there. Like when you think of a viewer testimonial effectively, are you thinking of, is there a viewer that you would think would be, it's going to sound shitty, but is there a viewer that you would think is a big enough deal to make it on the same level as like a partner?
Well, no. Like
Yeah,
a viewer doesn't need a single of
right.
their profile. So maybe what that looks like is testimonials would store the headshot and the person's name. So I guess we need to
I
separate
think
the
I think we
relationship
do.
of yeah. So like partners is we draw the line at companies. So
Mhm.
we could pull a partner into a testimonial, and that would mean like okay, let's go back to Dub
Oh,
here.
hang on. Yeah, yeah. Don't, make sure you save that before we do anything else too. Like, or just
Okay.
don't leave those pages, because we don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um okay, so let me go back to their testimonials here. So okay, so what I'm thinking is like we probably if it's a company behind it, we would want to pull their logo from partners, and then this would obviously be the testimonial, that post type. I think this information would be testimonials too, storing
Yeah.
their headshot and their name. So if it's a viewer testimonial,
Yeah.
we just don't need a partner associated with it.
It pretty much comes down to, kind of what we were doing initially. Like, I think it makes sense to have testimonials slash love slash, whatever. I think that does make sense to have its own custom post type, because you may want to have love from brands, or you may want to have love from viewers, or love from something else. And those don't necessarily have to be, like you said, companies per se. In certain cases, you might want to go back and do that screenshot situation or whatever. Like, for instance, this is the part where you have to like think about it and be like, oh, I actually have a shit ton of data, and because I've organized it so well, I don't have to use all of the data. Like, think about having 100 pieces of love, right? And 50 of them are categorized, however we categorize them, categorized and related to partners, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
create a page like that customers one, right? And I don't know if I've made this clear or not. The archive does not need to have all of the posts on that thing, obviously. Like in that customers one, you could have 50 things from businesses, right? You could have 50 pieces of love, so to speak, from all of those. Wow, this is interesting, actually. There's a lot more going on here. We'll come back to this in a second. But you could have 50 pieces of love on this thing, right? And those 50 could be all from brands, like related to brands, and be like sponsor category or something. You could then turn around and go have like another page, another archive, or just like the category page for viewers. And you could be pulling another 30 from love posts, like posts that are love, that are categorized as viewers, and they could be they could not have any information in them. Like maybe you don't want to go through the time of like doing like headshots and all that sort of shit. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Because what I've done is I've just screenshotted all like the comments and stuff. And you could just crop them, right? Just so they're like a little thing. People do this all the time in like sales pages. They're just like putting the actual like screenshots on there. And that could be your loop. Could be just like a bunch of images and something like that. So it's like, hey, if you're a viewer and you love my stuff, like here's a bunch of other people that see that as well. There's that angle. This is where we're getting into like your whole situation now where it's like craylor.com versus Craylor Media. It's like what pages, what sections of this website are more for brands versus more for viewers. So the more that I think about this architecture, I think I'm liking the love and I'm liking the partner, and the little kind of like juxtaposition that does also gives you the flexibility over for the tools and things like that.
Yes, and events and all that.
Exactly. Hey, real quick, hope you're enjoying the rebuild so far. Just wanted to take a moment to say that this would not have been possible without our series sponsor, BigScoots. They've been providing top-tier managed hosting since 2010, and they're not your typical hosting company. BigScoots owns their entire tech stack, from the servers to the network to the data center, which means faster load times, stronger security, and the ability to customize solutions for your specific site. And if you ever need any help, you can get connected to a real WordPress expert in under 90 seconds, 24/7. And by the way, right now is the perfect time to try BigScoots because they were kind enough to give you, the lovely viewers of my channel, a special offer. If you're a new BigScoots client, you can get 98% off your first 2 months on any of their managed hosting plans. All you have to do is click the link down in the description below and use promo code MJS for monthly plans or MJS annual for annual plans when you check out. Again, that's 2 months of premium hosting for pennies, which is basically no risk. If you've been looking to improve your hosting setup, show BigScoots some love for supporting valuable content like this and give their managed hosting a try today. Now, let's get back to building.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. So all of this started because we were discussing, do we need to have like a partner type, or that might be a taxonomy, a partner category? And maybe that's not even necessary, but defining is the partner a sponsor, or am I an affiliate of them? Are they? It's and a lot of this stuff, it's like in reverse. It's like the partner, let's say it's CloudFest. Like the partner is not a media partner. I am the media partner.
Yeah.
I don't know how to define that.
Yeah, I mean, again, partners. I think partners ubiquitous enough, like wide enough of a word that you could just it does work. Like you are partnering with them, like to some degree. Sure. Obviously, they're in. Again, unless you wanted to use customers, or we could find a bunch of other synonyms for that. I think partner works well. It is kind of like, you're entering into a contract with most of these people. So, I mean, you're somehow a partner. So that makes sense. Basically, what you're asking is, do we need partner categories? Right. Do we need to create a taxonomy for that? If we were going to do that, I could think of sponsor. I could think of, well, there's a couple different ways to think of it. You could think of sponsor. You could think of affiliate. You could think of, I don't think viewer makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
You could think of like venue or event or something, maybe.
Yeah.
If I can't think of more than 3, and I'm trying to think of, it wouldn't hurt, but I'm just trying to think of where you would utilize that data. It would be like on a customer's page, customers or partners page, and then it would be like a badge or categorized by section where it's like, this is a sponsor. But even sponsor and event, those don't really jive to me. I like the idea of like event. Affiliate is also still kind of like an odd man out for me as well, because it's like you're probably an affiliate and a sponsor of most things. Like if they're a sponsor, I feel like, at least for me, like they're probably going to be an affiliate. So you probably have both of those.
Right. And does the audience need to know, like, oh yeah, they're a sponsor but not an affiliate? They're both. They're an affiliate but not a sponsor. That might just be TMI for the audience.
I mean, I think it could be good for the actual audience that would be looking at that page, which would be other potential brands, potential partners. Because I don't think most of your audience is really going to care about that. This is the other thing. Is like, I think there's going to be places on your website where X person is not going to go, and then Y person is. So I would say let's table that idea, the partner thing, cool, or the category thing for now, because I don't think it's like 100% necessary, and we might find it is later. Do we think there's any more fields that we need for the partners?
I did like
Oh, did you want founded?
Yeah, founded, yeah.
Okay, so I would say founded, and then you could do text, but you could also do number. Or actually, if I wouldn't do, I probably wouldn't do number. Don't do number. Do
date, time, date.
Listen, yeah, I think for this you could get away with date. There's this whole thing that I've made before on like date versus date time. I never want to use like date just because of because you don't have the time. But in this case, you really never are going to need the time. So I think you can get away with date. I would click that save as timestamp thing. The problem with when you start doing this shit is like, if you ever want to compare, like it's probably not going to happen too much here because this is like a random field. But if you ever want to do like events, when we get to events, we need to be very particular on that, because when you start doing things like, I was talking about the other day, like past events versus upcoming events, it all has to make sense when you're like comparing the actual like Unix time stamp things. So
yes.
Long story short, just always use, we're going to use date here, but most of the time, if you're ever comparing anything, use date time, but this will be fine.
Okay. This is going to blow everything up. Mark's like, oh boy, what's
what's
going on here? But
I'm super excited.
Okay, but what about?
No, I want to hear this. I like this.
Of a parent company. Like if I want to have even a higher level view of a conglomerate, to be able to say, like, all of these brands that one that comes to mind immediately is Surfshark, NordVPN, and Incogni. Those are all three tools that are on my website right now, and they are all owned by Nord Security. Is that relevant? Would that be useful to be able to relate them to the higher entity? I don't know.
So that example was Nord Security is the parent company.
Yeah.
And then you have three things underneath it that are technically three other companies.
Yes.
And then those companies have multiple tools underneath them?
Potentially, yes.
Are you partnered with Nord Security, or are you partnered with the individual companies?
No, it's with the individual companies.
So my gut reaction is I like that, but it's also kind of too much information.
Yeah.
Because we're not trying to like, and I know exactly where your head's at. Like, we're not trying to create like an entire org chart for the entire world of these companies. Sure. I just don't think it's super relevant. The only caveat that I would say, this gets a little more into the business side, but like, I mean, like, would you get paid by the parent company, or would you get paid by the individual companies?
In the majority of cases, it's been by the individual companies.
I would say it's probably too much, but like just exploring it in my mind, the way that I would probably do it is you would create Nord Security as a company. You would create all four of them as like partners. If you actually want to do this, which I'm probably not going to recommend, but
like
you would
a
create
parent and child type thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can create all four. Can you make posts hierarchical? I think you can. I think you can turn on hierarchical on posts. Like if you scrolled up to real quick to, it says hierarchical right there. So I think you could do that, and then you could have those three underneath that. I don't know what that does actually. I'm wondering if you have two singles then. Like if you would have, that would be actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't think it's worth it, but I might experiment with it in my abundance of free time that I don't have. But I would probably say in our specific use case right now, I don't think it fits, because I just don't think it's
yeah,
like
it's probably too complicated. Yeah, I agree.
But I do think that's an interesting concept though. So any other fields that you think, or you like those?
I feel pretty good about these. I think we probably covered it.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think? Let's hear
do we want like a short bio, maybe like a descriptor of the partner? Because where would that info come? So going back to say like,
actually go back to that dub thing for a second. Go back to that dub one, because like I was going to say, this is exactly it right here. So customers.
Yeah, I'm lost here. Is this the one we were looking at?
Yeah. So like up at the top, this is interesting what they did here. This is all customers, right? And they put customers with testimonials at the beginning, right?
Yes.
So these are all testimonials from those people or whoever they're dealing with and all that sort of stuff. But down here, This is all their things. And actually, scroll up for a sec, because we might have to steal this. So trusted by the best companies. So yours could say working with some of the best, some shit like that, right? And then
Yeah.
this is interesting. You might want to, if we were going to categorize partners, you might want to categorize them like this and then create something like this in there, which we could do, because that's not what they are to you. That's what their actual category is. And then that right there, that little thing, that little excerpt type thing is probably what we should probably add. That we could either use the excerpt field, but I like just adding my own, meta fields. But I don't know if that's something you want to do, but I would say that that's kind of interesting.
So potentially exurb and then a category.
Well, I mean, I just thought of the category thing, but I'm thinking of how, again, like the problem with this is you have to like see it before you do it. So it's like, how do you anticipate these being? I probably wouldn't call it excerpt because there is an actual thing. Maybe do like short description or something like that, or short, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I would personally still do WYSIWYG just because.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I always try to do that.
Probably want this.
Yeah, you can reorder all those. Yeah, so whatever you think, like however you want to. And you can reorder these later. That's not going to mess anything up. It's only when you start messing with like field names and stuff. Be careful with that. The question that we have to ask ourselves is real quick, two things. One, do we still like the love idea? We think that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so while we're here, we have the option to do this. This is a very small question, but over there on post types where it says the 3 so far, I like having the least used shit at the bottom. So do you think we want to go, and unfortunately you can't reorder them at least yet. So do we think we want to go back to love and save that one first so it's lower? Or do we want to do partners, or does it not matter? I mean, it's all over there anyway, but
I think that is tough, but I think I probably would like partners lower. Here's the thing. I think I will use partners more than love, but I like the idea of partners being right above team members organizationally. So
totally up to you.
Otherwise it'd be like love, partners, tools, events. I don't know. Yeah, I'm leaning towards like let's save partners first, and then it probably will look like events, love, tools. I know tools I want to be at the top because that's going to be the most frequented.
Hopefully we can get Crock-a-Block, since they're heavily a part of this series. Hopefully we can get them to actually let us switch the order of these at some point. I'm going to put that in, as I haven't told them about that. So whatever one you want above team members, you're saying partners?
Yes. Yeah. So we can send this one then?
Send it. Yep.
All right. Send it.
Perfect.
This is getting fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right. So now this is love. So you said I know it, don't worry about what it says on the left-hand side right there, because it just didn't update that. But don't. Of course. You said you wanted events above partners?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So let's do a new one. Yeah.
Yep.
Events. Let me pull up my events as well while you're starting that. All right. So is public? Yes. Is publicly queryable? Can you see yourself having a single for events?
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. I would just leave it. Yeah, it's fine. You could always turn it off. I would scroll down. There definitely is a calendar somewhere in that little icon thing. We're good on that. I would say I have title and thumbnail. I'm not even really sure if you need thumbnail. And do you think, okay, so this is interesting, right? I could see some examples here. Do you think you'd ever write like a blog post style thing about like an event?
Potentially. Okay. Yeah. Would that be different from a single? I mean, isn't that the single?
No, it would be. Yeah, no, I'm saying like that. I would say if you think that, then maybe leave the editor.
Okay.
If not, then you can get rid of the editor.
Yeah, because especially if I'm doing a media partnership, and maybe I'm speaking, I may want to have a little post about, I'm so excited about this event. This is what I'm speaking on. This is what I liked about last year, something like that.
Gotcha. One other random thing real quick, because I'm looking at my notes. So just going back to that ordering thing, which hopefully we could change, but we have events and love. And then I also have mentions, videos, and tools. So I don't know if that changes your thought process at all, but.
What is videos? What's the thinking there?
So, oh man, so videos, the concept is you don't have to do it, but the concept is like you would have a tab on your website where you could click videos. And it's basically like your own YouTube on your website. Now, you're still uploading to YouTube. You're not
Sure,
uploading the
of
videos
course.
to you're not uploading the actual videos to the media library. The videos live on YouTube because these are public videos. So they live there. The idea is that if you have slash videos on your website and you have all your videos there, the likelihood that somebody is going to click on those videos on your website and watch your videos on your website is low, because why would they? I mean, in all reality.
Right.
The idea though is that it is on your website, and more data, just in general, more data, more whatever. The second thing is that when they click into the video, they're not like it. Don't think of it as like a grid and they click the video and it just starts playing in a little small square. They click into the card effectively, like a blog post, and then they go onto the video single.
Yep.
And you could make that look similar to YouTube, whatever. You could style it however you want. You could have the player up there. But on that page, that video about, top 5 browsers or something like that is words as well. Like it's not just a
Yes.
video. It could be
Yeah, like a written summary.
it's the description. It could be like, blog post style where the video is at the top and has like an AI transcripted like summary or whatever. And also, I've seen people do this. I don't know how effective this is, but think about all the words that you say in your video that do get transcribed into YouTube. And I'm sure YouTube itself is using some of that because they come up in Google search.
Mm-hmm.
It's different now than it was a few years ago, but if you could automate this whole process to where you don't have to post this stuff, it just like automatically pulls it from YouTube. I do think that there's some value there, which I'm kind of like in the process of doing that for myself. So all I'm saying is like it's more data on your website, it's more potentially authority, and it's more things that could like your website, so to speak, craylor.com could specifically like rank in Google for, rather than just relying on people going to YouTube. Because the idea there would be like you could actually create a different experience for your users if they get to that blog post, they read it, whatever, they maybe watch the video, and then they have other things that are related. That is not hard. Again, it's not complex, but it's like kind of the next evolution, I feel like, of getting all that information, rather than, again, we know,
Yes.
rather than relying on YouTube to show people more shit of ours, they're probably going to kick them to another channel. So you don't have to do that. That's just kind of like the big picture on that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm torn there because I know there are some videos that I would really want to put effort into and have a written version, not even just a transcript, but like a blog post around the video.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point I'm going to do that for every video. So then the challenge becomes either I have gaps, not literal gaps on the page, but like the videos that you see on that tab have a bunch that are missing, or it's this weird situation where like every 3 out of every 4 videos someone clicks is literally just an embed of the video and then maybe like a copy paste of the description. And I know this is more a business conversation than the data structure. But I'm torn there because I was going to bring up at some point, I don't think I want a blog. I don't really like I mean, nothing against blogs, but I don't want a blog tab on my website. But at the same time, I do need an outlet. I'm thinking about a particular comparison video I have coming up that it's like a comparison plus. Like I'm really putting a lot of energy and resources into this. And I absolutely want a written version on my website that is essentially a blog post. I just don't want to call it that. So I'm really torn
Yeah.
on the videos thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do that one right now, obviously. And if I were you, if that comes up with any level of frequency, I would consider just having it, and
Yeah,
then
that's what I'm leaning towards.
you don't have to build out the front end at all. You literally don't need to have a tab that says videos. You don't need to do anything. You could just have, in certain cases, pop a video in to the CMS part of WordPress, and then make a standard, just make a single template. And then at any point, you just be like, hey, I made this video, more information over here. Here's the link. You could short link it too, or whatever you want to do. But like it'll just be /videos/ whatever you title it. And then it's just a place for that. If you don't want to blog, Like if you don't want to just be like, oh, I want to write stuff down and not have it related to a video or another piece of content, if you don't see that happening, then I think that might be a good way to do it, because the only reason that text exists is because the video does. So it's really just
Right.
like an extension of the video. It's like, here's the
Yes.
video, here's the extra information. It's all on one page. Maybe there's some other stuff that you could check out while you're here, whatever. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably low frequency, it sounds like. If you're not
Yes.
going to like, do every single one, I think that's a good strategy. And then it also gives you the opportunity though, just because you have it, you could change that in the future. Like you could put more of them on there. You could, automate them to be published on there or whatever.
Yep.
But I think it's like almost like they're just special videos, but you don't need to say that. They're just like specific videos that have extra additional information.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
agree. I think it's smart to have. So we gotta circle back on what's being added in what order. I get that. Only other question I have is, should we have a post type for courses? The front end landing pages that we had discussed.
Yeah. So didn't have that on the list, but I do think that that's pertinent. You have 2 courses right now?
Yes, and potentially might be adding more. It's not the biggest priority, but I could see myself adding more at some point.
All right. So the only issue with the courses is the answer to the question is like yes, asterisk. The reason it's the asterisk is because yes, I definitely do want you to have a place where you can manage your course content. However, use Lifter LMS, right? So it's like
Yeah.
somewhere, I'm not super familiar with how the layout is now, but like with Lifter LMS, somewhere over there on the left-hand side is like Lifter LMS and then like
Mm-hmm.
courses or something, and then potentially lessons. I know LearnDash has like topics, for instance, whatever their whole category thing is. The beautiful thing about these course platforms is they add a lot of features, to like the way that you can build the courses and like maybe some layouts and things like that. The slightly unfortunate part is that it kind of messes with your data structure in a way, because now it's like it's its own thing. It's over there in Lifter. It's not
Yes.
like over here in the area where we're building all these other custom post types, right? There's really 2 options. The first option is harder and probably not worth it in a lot of cases, but only if like you have less stuff that you're actually, coursing, right? Like you're coursing people on or whatever, educating people on. You could make your own course thing like in Jet Engine. Probably wouldn't recommend it. It's probably not worth it. But you can make your own custom post type called courses. You can make another custom post type called like lessons or something, relate them all
Mm-hmm.
and do all that sort of stuff. Really not worth it. That's why course platforms exist.
Yeah.
So let's leave that aside. Then the next thing I would say is like, if we're going to implement the courses, like we were talking about earlier, and we're going to do like, well, technically, so this is the caveat here, is like, if we're going to have the academy stay the same and then push people over, like if this is just going to be the place where they log in, then we may want some level of course, like small course thing. Is that what we decided, right? Did we decide that the academy was going to be the actual place they log in? Like that's what
Yes.
they have the login to, but like ultimately the marketing is done on craylor.com.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was asking about that because
Yeah.
essentially this becomes transferred to craylor.com.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone clicks it, this landing page would be on craylor.com. When they click enroll, then they're taken to craylor.academy.
Yeah.
So we could do these as pages. That's an approach, but
Yeah,
I
no.
wonder if it makes sense to have it as a post type.
Okay, I did forget slightly that we're going that approach. So 100%, yeah. If the course platform is not on craylor.com, then yeah, we should do a courses one as well.
Okay.
The annoying part about that is that still that that is a duplicate data situation, but you really can't get away from that. So
Yeah, that's true.
what I honestly would say is display the least amount of information possible publicly on the academy one, because like for instance, like you're not even really going to need this page. Like obviously you're not going to need this
Right.
page over here, but even like you just don't want almost any pages at all. You only want the stuff that's behind the paywall, and it's probably going to be it's going to be way easier that way, because you don't have to manage the things in multiple places. But unfortunately, to some degree, unless you did some little automation stuff, I'm saying like for instance, if you're going to have the courses through Lifter on this academy website. What's the name of one? Like for instance, let me give you an
Uh,
example.
I mean, building a WordPress site with Cadence.
So like for instance, if you, let's say you changed the thumbnail of this over here, you could have an automation where it changes on the other side, but like, you know, unless you're at scale, like it's not going to matter. All I'm saying is if you ever change anything on the course catalog on the actual course platform, you're going to have to change it on the other one. So, not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, so I say all that to say that, yeah, we should probably have a courses one as well.
Okay. So our updated list looks like, okay. So,
and again, this is, I did it in, do I need I can switch them.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be kind of helpful. Sorry to mess up your list, but
no, I just did it in a way that we could.
Honestly, that might actually be the way to do it right there. I think like courses and events they're kind of not afterthoughts, but like they don't feel connected. But I don't know. Love, mentions, videos, tools. Those all kind of feel like one group. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I think I would be fine with that arrangement.
I'm trying to think real quick just while we're looking at this. Mentions. I know we said mentions were going to be like if you're in a podcast or if you're in another video or anything like that. Just trying to think of, there's going to be there might be a relationship there on like brands, like partners, if you were.
Yeah, because I could be, because mention could be me speaking at an event, so that could potentially be related to a partner and an event.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do a lot. We're gonna need to build a lot of relationships. So,
is mentions the best terminology? Should we use media appearances? I just
googled that one, or ChatGPT that one.
I mean, there was mentions is fine. I just worry about confusing it with love, because it's like what's love versus mention. But it does feel like I would probably want to have a mentions tab on the website, so maybe I should stick with that internally.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of whatever you feel. I can't remember, what else did I say? There was I mean, appearances is one. I try to keep them as short as possible and like one word if possible, but it's not like a requirement.
Yeah, and I do want it to feel casual. I think we talked about media appearances, or we had a more corporate term, and then you brought up mentions, and I said I liked that, and I do, because I
think it was press, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, and it's the same idea behind like testimonials versus love. I don't know. I like it feeling more casual and less corporate. So
yeah,
I think mentions is good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so next then we would create courses.
Yeah. So I would say courses and then course. Buddy, you're gonna you're gonna go from a super thin website to a super thick website here, bro.
Oh, I'm pumped. Really.
All right, we need all that, and then I think there's a graduation cap in there. All right, so for courses now, this is actually one. This is actually one where you might end up wanting to build your own pages for this. Yes. And I mean, not pages, but turn on the post type thing. So I can show you how to do that, and we don't need to do that right now, but like we can kind of go over that. So if that's the case, you're probably not going to need the editor. You probably will need the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be fine. And for just a couple meta fields, just so we have something in here, what are some things? I mean, price possibly.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough though, because like it might be. This is one where it's like, how are we gonna? Is it gonna? It could just be text. Like it could be, because you don't have to do the e-commerce on this one. So it could just be text. It could be like, you write it out and just display it like that. The over optimizer in me is going to say, okay, is it lifetime? Is it annual? Is it monthly?
Right.
And then do all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But what's the current ones though? Are they just free?
They're all free. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't really need to worry about it then, I guess. But I mean, you could just say price, and then you could just list them as free for now.
Yeah.
Is totally good. The next meta field we have thumbnail, title. Because this is a different website, you're not going to have access to any of the Lifter stuff. Like, so for instance, over in that Lifter one real quick, if you still have that courses archive up.
Yeah.
So like estimated time, I don't know if that's like automated.
No, it has you enter it.
Okay, so the issues here again, like this is where some duplicate data is just going to happen because we don't have access. I mean, we could get access to it, but is it worth it right now? No.
Yeah.
So like estimated time, you're going to have to write that in there. If you want the number of lessons and stuff, you're going to have that in there, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue because if you ever add more lessons, you're going to have to try to remember to change it.
Right.
So, not
yeah,
ideal.
is what it is there. Do we want this to be a number, the estimated time?
So if it's going to be a number, then the thing about a number is think about like it being a number. You're going to put in like 1 hour, like you're going to put in like one, and then on the front end you're going to put like the dynamic thing, and then you're going to put an hour after it.
Yep.
So if they're always going to be like hours, like if you're always going to say it in hours, then it could totally be a number. If it's going to be like, if it's potentially going to be like minutes ever, then like that you could still do it, but it might be more annoying. So it's like maybe estimated time.
Would text just be more universal, you think?
You could do that.
Over number? I mean,
okay. Well, here's the only issue. I always think of problems, right? So the only issue is like if here's how this would potentially screw you is if you ever wanted to sort your courses by estimated time of completion, for instance, like if somebody had 10 courses, then I want to know what the quickest one is for some reason. I don't know if you would ever want that. You wouldn't be able to sort the text, but you could sort the number as an example.
Yeah, I just don't think that's super important.
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave it text.
Text works.
And then we want number of lessons for sure.
Yeah. Now
and this one can be a number.
Yeah, that's something. I mean,
that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to close some tabs. Yeah, number of lessons. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Weird, that didn't update. I guess because I already hit tab. Okay, so this can be a number. That makes sense. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to make that required or that. I'm only going to put required on the price. And so we probably want a URL field.
Yep.
I would imagine.
100%. Yeah, you should say like an enroll link or something.
Yeah. See, this is another great use case for the partners thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
you could totally
your courses could be related to a partner. Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of this going to hosting maybe I'd still want it to go to their landing page, but like I could have it go to that partners page.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be, where in the world am I? Okay, this is the one.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Course URL. Text, yes. Yeah, that's definitely going to be required.
Do you want to call that enroll? Though, I mean, I don't know. Like, so they would be on your page, and then it's like,
yeah,
maybe like sign. I don't know, enroll. I guess, yeah, maybe sign up, enroll.
Okay. And then delete metadata. Seems like we always want that.
Yeah, and then anything else here? Can you go back to the page for a second? Just what you have, so we have an idea.
Yeah, that's not the one. That's the one.
So you could create all these. I mean, if you had like a standard video, you could do like, if you have a video for each one and you think that's going to happen, you could just build this page, or again, you're probably going to build them regardless because they're like custom things, unless you want them all follow the same template and you could just do it that way. But normally with something like this, there's so much information that it's like it's unreasonable that you're going to do all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now FAQs is one that maybe we could do a repeater for and test that out, because if you think every course is going to have FAQs, an FAQ section on this page, then it would be kind of nice to have think about this section right here as being a template, and then you're adding in you're pulling in the FAQ data from the thing, like the actual post. That could be an idea and something for us to play around with. Now this is going to be a problem down here.
This is just not going to be possible anymore, and that's fine, because this is dynamically generated by Lifter.
It's actually we could probably definitely make it possible. You would just have to probably do it through like an API.
Because it doesn't do anything when you're signed out. It changes the URL. I don't know if you can see that up here.
It's locked.
but it doesn't display an error message or anything. But if I was signed in right now, I think when I click this, it will deep link right to that lesson page. Which the manual way of doing that is just get the URL for every lesson page and link out to that.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically though, they wouldn't be doing that because this is the page that we would be building is pure marketing on a different website. So they
Yeah,
wouldn't really
I
need
don't think it really needs this, to be honest.
But yeah, let's table that one. Let's just think of a minimum viable product for the thing here. So they click on courses, they see a grid, they see a couple things, whatever, and then they enroll link is important, like where you're actually going to send them, the price and all that sort of stuff. Do we want to try the FAQ thing? Do we think that's pertinent?
I'm not sure what the value is to that over just doing it on the page.
Okay.
Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know that that's going to be a huge time saver.
What's the other course page look like real quick? Is it just the same thing?
Yeah, I basically just duplicated it.
The only thing I would say here is if you're actually going to keep them all the exact same like this, then there's very clear places where you could put dynamic data in. You know what I mean? Like you could easily put like a couple things in it. You could put a video URL in the background. You could put a sponsor if there's a sponsor. You could say like a list of things you'll learn. You could do, a couple things there. We could table this until we make the template. It's not really a big deal.
Let's just wait on that for now because I did consider that, but I also think maybe I'd want to do more creative pages for each course. So yeah, we can table that
because they're really ultimately those are actual landing pages in reality. They're like they function as sales landing pages. So that's
right.
All right, so we want to create that one then. So we have courses. All right, I think the next one you wanted was events.
Yes, which we started to create.
Yes.
We just don't have any meta fields yet.
All right, so I have start date time.
Okay.
And then start date time and daytime, toggle that thing on. And then I normally say is required generally because it's an event. And then I have end date time. And same stuff there. It's a date time toggle. And then for this, I don't normally keep required because you could do different things there. Okay, and then I have location. Now you can get as complex as you want with this, but I just have text because, you never you could do a map and all sorts of shit, but it's kind of unnecessary. Sure. All right, now then this is really going to depend on what you ultimately want, but do you have a vision for events? Like if they click on an events, they slash events and they see events you're headed to, events you've been to, all that sort of stuff. What are you?
Yeah, I think potentially being able to go to a single, if I want to elaborate, potentially a button out to the event landing page. So we definitely want to have a URL field.
Yeah, I have an event info URL. You can name it whatever you want.
Yeah, that'll work.
Just text.
I'm trying to think what else.
I have. I'll keep telling you some more of mine here. I have a scheduling URL. Which would be
I like that.
That would go to a different button. Yeah, so you can call it whatever you want there, and that would just be again like Calendly or whatever. And again, I just want to clarify that what you're writing in here doesn't need to be on the front. Correct. If that makes sense. So you the point here is just make sure that you know what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all internal.
Yeah. And then I have, so these are events, right? So the other things that I have are information about potential talk. Now, again, they don't even need to all be filled out. So I have my talk name, my talk room, my talk date and time.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
I have recap video URL, but I don't know, yours, you might not need that because if you were going to do a single, if you were going to do a video, then you might just have it on the single. I haven't gotten to the single idea yet for the events. It's two things, right? It's when the event hasn't happened yet, and maybe you have a grid of again, upcoming events. Is there anything that you think is important there that we don't have? And then whenever the event is over, it's in a different grid, past events. And is there any certain information there? And then if you click on the single, can you think of anything that you'd want to see there?
Yeah, I think, leaning into the media partnership concept, it would be nice after the event to click the event, have a single, or even that the event can post and say, check out craylor's coverage on our event. And I have basically any asset. We're getting complicated again, but that
Yeah.
could be a video.
Yeah.
I could do a video entry for each asset, whether it's a short or full length or whatever. But just a place that people could go and say, what is every piece of media that Craylor produced for CloudFest 2024? Or if I give a talk, seeing the talk video there as well.
Okay.
So I think I'm leaning towards the single strategy and not having a recap URL.
Gotcha. When you click on that, you go to the single. What are you envisioning the single being? Like, could it be like a blog post too, or no?
Yeah, it could be a blog post
or blog
recapping
style.
the event. Yeah, blog style. I mean, I'm design is not my strength. I literally just see like a grid of videos. That's not a good way of displaying the information, but a way for people to see anything that I produced at the event. I just don't know what it looks like.
I would say just delete that last one then. That's empty.
Yeah.
Click the delete metadata thing on the right side, and then
oh yes.
I think that's good then, because we have the editor on if you want to do any of that. So yeah, go ahead and add that one. And
so love mentions tools videos.
Let's do it.
Man, this is getting so complicated.
I mean, honestly though, it's like there's a lot going on, but
yeah,
you are going to be organized, my friend.
That's the hope.
All right, so love blast off through here. So it's short testimony. I'm actually getting super excited to do some more crazy stuff on mine now. We got a lot of ideas here. Short testimonial, contact headshot, contact title, and okay. So we're going back here. This is a little bit of a problem here, though. Not a problem, but is it foreseeable that the person giving you the testimonial is not the company? Remember how we saw that before?
Yeah, if it's just a viewer, yes.
Let me quickly go back to the event thing, because I had an idea. There's one thing that I think that I'm going to implement, and that maybe you want to implement as well. I'm not sure the best way just yet. I think it might be just simple like category, but like think about like an events grid. Maybe let's just say the past ones, maybe the upcoming ones as well. But is it valuable to know at a glance when they're seeing all the events what you were, like a speaker and or a media partner and or a sponsor?
I think so.
And or volunteer, I don't know, organizer or whatever. I think that would be kind of cool. There's two ways to do that. It's either a meta field that is like a checkbox, or it's taxonomy.
Taxonomy seems kind of weird to me because I may want to use taxonomies to categorize the event itself. Is it a WordPress event, domains, AI?
Let's do that first. You can have more than one taxonomy, by the way. Let's do taxonomy, because that's a good idea. That's absolutely important for you. So let's do add new, and let's say event category or event type, whatever you feel like, or probably
that's fine. Yeah.
Post type up there. That third one, do events.
Okay.
So that's just attaching it to the event post type, and then labels. You could just say event category, and advanced settings. We want to turn on hierarchical when we get to the bottom there.
Yes.
And then that's it. We don't need anything there. Yeah, we could do that, and then taxonomy, and then let's go to that, which is hover over events, event category. So this is up to you. I mean, WordPress, I think, is one. And you could do parent categories if you really wanted to, but like cloud, domains, probably just those three.
Yeah, I'll add AI as well.
Yeah, hell yeah, we got to get to some AI ones.
We sure do.
All right, so that's good. Perfect. So then, yeah, something like that. There we go. Lovely. That's all good. Yeah, we could just, you could publish that. I didn't even... I was trying to think like what the flow was going to be like with potentially the editor and stuff, but it just does what it does up there on that. All right.
That's what I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's all over there. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to that real quick. Do we want another taxonomy of what you were, or do we want a field? I'm sure that the pros and the cons are that taxonomy does a little bit more. It has like the thing, it's the easy selection on the right-hand side where you can click, like that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as how we would actually do it, I think taxonomy is easier from the way in which you display it. Meaning, in my mind, if you had like a card, let's say it's like a long card on a screen or whatever, then you have the title, and then somewhere in there you maybe have like little, almost like those little pill things where it's like, speaker, sponsor, and whatever, like on that one. Because I think it's very possible you could be both, right?
Yeah.
You could be
it
for
could
one
be.
event. I think our safe bet, our easiest thing is just to create a quick taxonomy just for that.
Okay.
So if we go taxonomies there, then add new and say like, now we don't have to say event. We could say whatever. It's like maybe event role or event,
Involvement.
all right. And then advanced settings, I would just turn on hierarchical just because that's should be on by default. And then that's it.
Okay.
So real quick, we can add a couple of those and we keep rocking and rolling. I would just say again, like speaker, sponsor, media partner. I definitely have to add this to mine. I want to see that. Now, again, the idea here is when you're putting them in, you can check these, and then you could also, this will give you an easy way to filter them too if you wanted to. It's like all the events that I've ever been a media partner at. You click a button, boom, you see all the media partner ones.
Yeah.
Could be kind of a cool thing. All right, we haven't done any relationships yet, but I'm going to save that because that's going to be a whole thing because there's a lot of different things. Yeah, it was love. We're finishing that one.
Yep.
Okay, so let's think about this. So short testimonial, we have that in there. Contact headshot, we have that. Contact title. This is a problem. What is our title of this thing? Is it a person's name?
That is a problem.
I think it's a person's name.
I think so. So we don't need contact title.
Well,
correct?
Actually, hang on a second. It's not a person's name. We do need title because that's their job role. Actually, let's go back over to Dub for a second.
Duh. Yes. Yeah.
We were doing. Okay. So here's the thing. It's like when you click read more, this is the archive, right? So technically the title of this is up there.
This is the title.
That's the title. Yeah.
Right.
So, and these are probably going to be templated. So that's the title. Technically that thing underneath is probably an excerpt. We could use the excerpt one, or we could create our own field. I kind of like creating our own field because we don't go over to the side and do all that bullshit, but that's a featured image in the middle. All the stuff on the right-hand side comes from our partners. So that's fantastic. Everything underneath there is our block editor.
Yes.
If you were going to do it all like this, do they have anything weird else on this thing, just as a curiosity? No, that's kind of all in there, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. All right, so let's go back. I would say contact name or contact full name or whatever. Name is fine, but just put their full name in there whenever you type it, whenever you do it. And so that's their headshot, their title, their name. The problem that I was going to say is I think most of these loves are going to be, let's compartmentalize. This is love from partners, not love from viewers for a second. We'll come back to the viewer thing in a second. Let's just assume this is all the partner from partner love.
Yep.
So the name, title, and headshot. Over on that dub thing, it's title, comma, in the archive, it's title, comma, you see how it says like cow.com, efficient app.
Yeah.
There's a couple in here where it's not that. It's like they worked with somebody that wasn't directly at that company. I saw it somewhere. Is that I think for you, let's do an example. For Raycast or one of these, right? So it could say like Hostinger, and then it could say, I know you probably work directly with them, but it could say like account manager. Yeah, account manager. Do you want to account for that, or you don't even need to like write that stuff? I mean, like I'm just trying to pull it off of this. There's just one spot in here where I know that it wasn't like a 1-to-1. It was like
it was the Huberman guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't even understand that, but
yeah, I'm really torn on that because I don't know that I love featuring a company's logo if it's somebody else, but at the same time, like it doesn't make sense to have an agency logo because no one's going to understand that.
Right. Yeah.
I think to be safe, it would be a good idea to have this, but then this brings up the challenge of again, entering duplicate data, I don't think there's a way around that. If the name of the company changes, I would have to change it in love as well as partners.
I like how you're thinking, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Like you do have a little bit of duplicate data there.
This just gets super complicated. And
Isn't it
unless you
so
can
fun?
do, yeah, well, essentially like an if statement. Like if there's a partner associated with it, use that variable. If there's not, but when would there ever not? Well, there wouldn't be a partner. Gosh, this is so
No,
complicated.
there would
There
always be a partner, but it's
unless
like
it's a viewer testimonial.
what it
But
actually
that's
is
a different.
what it actually it's actually you really want as a default. So you'd want like a default to be the partner, to pull from the partner. But then if there's not, we'd actually do that. Do like agency, like, okay, what you have to convey in this field is like, I'm only going to type you. There's a description field too. You can type it in or whatever, but like you could say like alternative company name or something, or agency name or whatever you think. Okay. But this is, you're only going to type in. Yeah. You're only going to type in if it's something else. That's only going to get, put in like last case circumstances. What we'll do on the front end when we get there is we'll do contact title, comma, and then it'll be a variable that like gets the partner associated with it. So it'll say like, CloudFest or whatever, Hostinger. But then we'll do a condition where it's like only show that if there's nothing in the agency field. And then if there is something in the agency field, we'll have another thing there where it shows the agency name.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is sick.
It is sick. This is the
amazing.
shit right here. Yeah. All right. So I think we're good on that.
Okay. And then for viewer testimonials, we had tabled that discussion.
Yeah.
Is this compatible with that still?
So I would say it is, but it depends on how you want it. So like if you want, so you're going to effectively what you're going to have right now is /love. And then I don't know what you're going to put on that. Eventually, maybe like the dub style thing where you have a bunch of testimonials. The question becomes for you is what is valuable to you? Like if you go to that customers page on dub, like, do you want to see like maybe like one thing I'm thinking in my mind is scroll up for a second. And like maybe you could do the thing that they have on the bottom, but you do it on the top where it's like a filter and it says like all, or it says sponsor, or it says education, or it says consulting or whatever. Like imagine that. That's something that I'm doing on my website. It depends on what you want the filter to be, if you want to do that at all or whatever. Again, the vision I'm looking for from you here is where do you want to put the love, and do you want to categorize it in a certain way? Does it need to be love from, do you just want to see love from the brands and from the stuff that you did sponsorship work for? Do you just want to see love from the viewers? Do you want different places for different things?
I think on the main love page, I want to see all of it. I'm open to having categories like this for people to filter, but I'm using the logic that viewers are potentially sponsors and vice versa, and this is more about a personal brand. It's like I want people to see all of the hype that everyone is saying in some. I think that's appropriate rather than having all this segregation. I mean, we may still have where the media page for sponsors pulls in a few testimonials that are from sponsors, but a sponsor may also find it valuable to see what a viewer says, and that may build social credibility when they're evaluating. So I think we can show all of it on the main page.
All right. I sent you a link in the chat. If you just want to look at that real quick, this is an unfinished version of what I started doing there. It kind of like what I was trying to explain. There's some slight issues with it. All right. So this is the concept here. The problem with this, it's not again a problem, but the problem you can see is like, it's all kind of the same template, but there's things kind of missing. And then the other issue is like, who do you want? Like, who do you want to show? Who do you actually want to show? Like their faces and stuff versus, and again, it's not mosaic and all that sort of stuff or masonry where it looks like shit. But my point is from like, those were my things that I thought of: consulting, education, speaking, sponsor. But you may want, I guess, like partner or viewer or something. So those are the decisions you have to make. It's like, how do you want to categorize? And then what do you want the actual cards to look like? Because as you said earlier, you're not really going to put a viewer's face necessarily potentially in there. Like I didn't like those
Yeah.
are consulting people. For the education in this case is my viewer. I
Yeah.
just put those things for now because I didn't know, But the other problem
Yeah.
is going to be like those are all technically screenshots in my world right now. They're not, and some of them are anonymous because they're YouTube people, they're YouTube commenters. So it's like, really, I need to know examples of who your viewer are. You know what I mean? Like, who would you?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of doing a screenshot. That probably throws a wrench in things, though, with the idea of having everything on one page or everything with one loop grid.
It throws a wrench if you wanted them all in the same grid. But what
Yeah,
you're seeing right here, you could absolutely, like, you could click consulting like this. And as an example, let's say this was your sponsor, or click on the sponsorship one, for instance. Like
sure.
you could have something like this, like all your sponsors, everything like that. Then you could click on like education or viewer or whatever, and you could have all screen. It does not need to look like this. You could have all screenshots, like a grid of just screenshots and everything like that. The
Yeah.
problem would be like visually if you tried to merge them both into the same grid, not the same like tabbed thing here. You could do whatever you want in between tabs. So that would be something. So are you saying to me then that your viewer testimonials, your viewer love effectively will be communicated via screenshots, or is it going to be actual text?
Yeah, I think screenshots. I think I want it to feel casual like that, and having text just feels weird for a viewer.
All right. So what I would say is then possibly like the first thing we do here for V1 is we just go back to this love, and then we would have to add, you could do it as the featured image, but I probably wouldn't. I would probably just do another field,
Okay.
and I would say like viewer testimonial screenshot, or however you want to say that, just so you know. And you're only going to use it, you're going to make it a media, and you're only going to use this when you need it. I mean, is there any reason you would need to use this for, I don't think there's any reason you would need to use this for like a sponsor, right? I mean,
I don't
probably,
think so. Yeah.
probably not. Now there's one more thing we could do here to make this easier, and that would just be to categorize them like we were saying. Because if we want to do the tabs, like that'll make it just like a little easier to loop it. But again, do you think you're going to have those categories, or is it literally just going to be like viewer and partner? Like what's the vision?
No, I would like to have viewer, sponsor, consulting, maybe maybe
Consultee?
education. I don't know. It's like consulting and courses I feel like that should be in the same bucket. I don't want to fragment that, but maybe I don't need to say courses. But I think I see three distinct buckets. I see viewer, sponsor, and consulting / courses.
Okay. So sponsor would be, so let's think about this real quick. If it's a viewer, they're probably, let's say you need to add a viewer to this, it's probably just going to be testimonial screenshot done.
Yep.
If it's a sponsor, you probably have contact name, contact title, contact headshot, short testimonial, possibly agency name. Makes sense. We could have done a lot of conditional logic in here too. Like we could have had a field that says like one of those three and then basically dynamically does it.
Okay.
That could be an option to make it a little cleaner. The trouble with that is anytime you use fields rather than taxonomies, now the way in which you're doing things on the front end end up being a little different.
Yeah.
The third one is interesting, right? So it's like education in general, courses, whatever. Do we think that you would have all of those fields for that? Like, would you have contact name and like, would you have a headshot and a name for them and a short testimonial?
Okay. Yeah, I could see that being the case.
All right. Why don't we do this for now? I think this is enough fields. Why don't we update this post type, make sure it's updated on that side there. And then if we go to taxonomies, let's just do another one, and we could always change this later. Let's do, I love categories.
It's plural. Okay. Yeah. That always messes me up.
And then that post type up there. Love. Yep.
Love.
And that's it. Lovely. Awesome. We can add a couple there if we want, just so we have them in there. Love category. And we want, all right. So those good on love. Let's see what else we got here. That's going to do it for episode 3. Talked a lot about data architecture in this one, right? Love, events, courses, comes all together at partners. So we're not repeating ourselves. We're not doing any duplicate data. Everything can come together and be related here as we move forward. It's going to be really important as we build out this website with this level of complex data architecture really coming together. In our next episode here, we're going to dive into tools, which is one of the key pieces of this website for Christian, because all of his audience is relying on him to place recommendations on these different things. There's a ton that we want to do with the tool singles, so we're going to have to map all of that out from the custom fields, the relations, all of that stuff. It's going to be really cool. You're going to want to see it. Can't wait to share it with you. We'll see you in the next one.